When you get older, no matter how free you are, don't visit the homes of these 5 people. As we get older, we often find ourselves with more free time than we once had. Retirement brings a slower pace, and the years ahead offer a chance to reconnect with friends and family. But have you ever left someone's house feeling uneasy, as if your presence wasn't entirely welcomed? Have you ever wondered whether your well intended visit may have actually caused discomfort rather than joy? The truth is, as we age, the way we interact with others evolves. What once seemed like a casual drop in can now be perceived as an intrusion. While we may have the best intentions, not everyone has the time, energy, or desire to entertain guests. Understanding where and when to visit is an act of wisdom and maturity. In this article, we'll explore 5 types of people whose homes you should avoid visiting as you grow older, no matter how free you are. By respecting personal space, maintaining meaningful relationships, and valuing quality over quantity, you can ensure that the time spent with loved ones remains fulfilling and appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. The overburdened caregiver. Give them space to breathe. Aging teaches us many things: patience, resilience, and the value of relationships. But one of the most profound lessons we learn is the importance of recognizing when our presence is a gift and when it might be a burden. Among the people we encounter in our later years, few carry as much unseen weight as the overburdened caregiver. You might know someone like this. Perhaps it's an old friend caring for a spouse who's battling illness, a sibling who has taken on the responsibility of looking after an aging parent, or even a neighbor who has unexpectedly become the primary guardian of their grandchildren. From the outside, they may seem composed, managing everything with quiet strength, but beneath the surface, they are often exhausted, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Their days are spent tending to the needs of others. Their nights are restless, and their sense of self has, in many ways, become secondary to their responsibilities. It's easy to assume that a friendly visit would be a welcome break, a way to brighten their day. After all, companionship is one of life's greatest comforts. But what if instead of easing their burden, our visit unintentionally adds to it? Imagine this. You knock on the door of an old friend, someone you've shared years of laughter and memories with. They open the door, their smile warm but weary, and invite you in. As you settle into their living room, you notice the subtle signs of their reality: a half-eaten meal on the table, stacks of medical bills, a phone constantly buzzing with reminders and obligations. They sit across from you, nodding along as you share stories, but their eyes are distant, their mind somewhere else. And in that moment, a quiet truth emerges. They are not truly present, not because they don't care, but because they have nothing left to give. It is in these moments that we must recognize the unspoken needs of those around us. A caregiver is often trapped in a cycle of endless giving, rarely allowing themselves the luxury of saying, "Not today." They may feel obligated to welcome guests, to entertain, to put on a brave face, even when all they truly need is a moment of solitude. They may long for a day without another responsibility, another conversation that requires energy they no longer have. So, what can we do? The answer lies not in avoiding them entirely, but in being more mindful of how we show up in their lives. Instead of an unexpected visit, send a message. "I was thinking about you today. I know how much you have on your plate, and I just wanted to remind you that I'm here for you." No need to respond, just know that you're in my thoughts. A small gesture like this allows them the space to breathe without the pressure of engaging. If they do want company, offer something that lightens their load rather than adding to it. Instead of arriving as a guest who needs entertaining, show up as a helper. Bring a home cooked meal. Offer to pick up groceries or sit with their loved one while they step outside for a walk. Instead of expecting them to hold a conversation, allow them the gift of silence, the kind of quiet that feels safe and restful, not lonely or isolating. Most importantly, don't take it personally if they decline your offer to visit. True friendship and deep familial bonds are not measured by time spent together, but by the understanding we share. Giving someone permission to say, "not now," without guilt, is one of the greatest acts of love and respect we can offer. In the end, the overburdened caregiver doesn't need more company, they need more care. And sometimes the best way to care for them is to step back, to offer support in a way that doesn't require more effort on their part, and to remind them that they are seen, appreciated, and never alone in their struggles. Because love isn't always about being present, it's about knowing when to be present and how to be present in a way that truly matters. 2. The friend who values their routine more than socializing. Respect their need for solitude. There was a time when friendship meant spontaneous coffee visits, dropping by just to chat, and sitting together for hours reminiscing about the past. But as we grow older, something shifts. The same friend who once welcomed every unannounced visit with open arms now seems hesitant. The once effortless conversations now feel slightly strained. You tell yourself it's just life, that people get busy, that things change, but deep down there's a quiet ache, a question left unspoken. Did I do something wrong? The truth is, you didn't, and neither did they. As we age, we come to realize that time, something we once felt we had in abundance, becomes one of our most precious resources. Days are no longer filled with obligations of work and raising children, yet the hours seem to pass quicker than ever. For some, this means seeking out social interaction to fill the space. For others, it means leaning into solitude, cherishing the predictability of a carefully curated routine. If you have a friend who values their daily rituals more than unexpected visits, it's not because they love you any less. It's because they have found peace in the rhythm of their life, one that does not always include impromptu gatherings or lengthy conversations. Perhaps their mornings are reserved for quiet reflection over a cup of tea. Maybe their afternoons are dedicated to reading, tending to their garden, or simply sitting in silence, listening to the world outside their window. Their routine is not a rejection of you. It is a sanctuary they have built for themselves, a space that brings them comfort and stability in a world that often feels unpredictable. Imagine for a moment that you are in their shoes. You wake up early, enjoying the gentle stillness of the morning. The day unfolds exactly as you like it. Perhaps a short walk, a meal prepared with care, an afternoon spent with a beloved book or hobby. There is no rush, no demands, no pressure to entertain or engage. Then, suddenly, the doorbell rings. Someone you love, someone who means well, is standing there, expecting conversation, laughter, connection. And while you care for them deeply, their presence disrupts the delicate balance of your day. You smile, you welcome them in, but inside you feel a quiet tension because while they came with love, they also came uninvited into the rhythm of your solitude. It's not about disliking people. It's not about pushing friends away. It's about preserving the peace that has taken years to cultivate. So, how do we honor these friendships without overstepping? We start by acknowledging that not all connections require physical presence. Instead of dropping by, send a thoughtful message, thinking of you today, Hope you're enjoying your afternoon. A simple note like this carries warmth without expectation. It reminds them that they are loved without demanding their time or energy. If they are open to meeting, suggest something that fits into their comfort zone. Maybe they'd enjoy a scheduled phone call rather than an in-person visit. Perhaps a short walk together where they don't have to worry about hosting or making conversation beyond what naturally flows. Most importantly, resist the urge to take their solitude personally. Their preference for quiet doesn't mean they don't miss you, that they don't value your friendship, or that you have somehow become less important to them. It simply means that their relationship with themselves, their peace, their routine, their space, has become just as vital as their relationships with others. In the end, true friendship isn't about how often you see each other. It's about the mutual understanding that exists between you. It's about knowing when to reach out and when to let go, when to show up and when to step back. It's about respecting the person they have become, even if that person no longer fits into the patterns you once shared. Because love, real, enduring love, knows that presence isn't just about being there. It's about being there in a way that honors the other person's needs, their boundaries, and most importantly, their right to live life on their own terms. 3. The family member who sees your visits as an obligation. Let love flow naturally. Family. The word itself carries so much meaning. It is supposed to represent unconditional love, a lifelong bond that we carry through every stage of our journey. As we age, family becomes even more significant. Our children grow up, our siblings take different paths, and suddenly we find ourselves longing for the closeness we once had. We tell ourselves that visiting often will keep these bonds strong, that our presence will remind them of how much we love them. But sometimes, despite our best intentions, we sense something unsettling. A polite but distant smile, a quick glance at the clock, a sigh so subtle we almost don't hear it. And that's when the realization dawns. Are they truly happy to see me, or do they feel obligated to welcome me? It's a painful thought, one we don't want to entertain. After all, we raised our children, we stood by our siblings, we were there for family through thick and thin. Shouldn't that mean they will always want us around? Shouldn't they crave our presence as much as we crave theirs? But life is never that simple. People change, responsibilities pile up. The family we once gathered around the dinner table every night now has jobs, children, obligations of their own. The home that used to be filled with noise, laughter, and constant activity has become a space they guard carefully, a retreat from the chaos of daily life. They still love us, but their lives have expanded in ways we didn't expect. And sometimes that means they don't have the energy or the time for frequent visits, no matter how much they cherish us. This is not a rejection. It's a shift, a natural evolution of family dynamics. But accepting this change requires wisdom and grace. It requires us to recognize that love is not measured by how often we see each other, but by the quality of the moments we share. Instead of insisting on regular visits, let family relationships breathe. Give them space to miss you, to want to reach out, to invite you in, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire. When they do, cherish those moments, make them light, joyful, and meaningful, rather than weighed down by the unspoken expectation that they should happen more often. There are other ways to stay connected without being physically present. A thoughtful message, a short phone call, a handwritten letter filled with stories from your day. These small acts of love can keep the bond strong without making it feel like a burden. If you want to see them, consider inviting them somewhere neutral, a park, a cafe, a short trip to a place you both enjoy. This removes the pressure of hosting and allows for quality time in a relaxed setting. Most importantly, never mistake fewer visits for fading love. True love is not about frequency. It is about presence in the moments that matter. Some of the deepest relationships are built not on constant proximity, but on mutual respect for each other's space and pace in life. So if you ever sense that a family member welcomes you more out of duty than delight, step back, not in sadness, but in understanding. Let them come to you when they are ready. Let love be something that flows naturally, not something that is scheduled or expected. Because in the end, the strongest family bonds are the ones that are free from pressure, free from guilt, and full of appreciation for the times when we do come together, not because we have to, but because we truly want to. 4. The neighbor who prefers distance. Some connections are best kept casual. There is something comforting about the idea of neighbors. For many of us, especially those who have lived in the same home for decades, neighbors become familiar faces in the rhythm of daily life. A wave from the porch, a quick chat while checking the mail, a nod of acknowledgement as you both tend to your gardens. These small moments create a quiet sense of community. But not all neighbors want more than that. It can be tempting to think that a friendly acquaintance should naturally turn into a close friendship. After all, you see each other almost every day, you live just steps apart, and wouldn't it be nice to share a cup of coffee now and then? But sometimes that unspoken boundary, those simple yet distant interactions, is the relationship, and it is enough. Not everyone enjoys unexpected visitors, even from someone they like. For some, home is a retreat, a private space where they can unwind without the need for socializing. The door is not always open, not because they are unfriendly, but because they value their solitude. They have their own way of moving through the day, their own habits and routines that do not always include sharing time with others. It's easy to take this personally. Why don't they want to spend time together? Am I bothering them? Do they not like me? But the truth is, it's rarely about you. It's about them. Some people simply recharge in solitude. Others find comfort in routine and don't feel the need to extend social interactions beyond polite exchanges. And then there are those who may be struggling silently with health concerns, emotional burdens, or simply the exhaustion of daily life. Instead of trying to force a deeper connection, honor the relationship for what it is. Appreciate the simplicity of a shared greeting, a moment of conversation on a breezy afternoon, or the occasional small favor exchanged with no expectation of more. Not every relationship needs to be close to be meaningful. Some of the best connections in life exist in quiet, respectful coexistence. So if you have a neighbor who keeps their distance, don't see it as rejection. See it as a different kind of friendship, one that thrives not in shared meals or long conversations, but in mutual respect for space and independence. A neighbor doesn't have to be a close friend to be a good neighbor. Sometimes just knowing they are there, just being part of the same small world, is enough. Because true kindness is not about how much time we spend with someone, but about how well we understand and honor their needs. And sometimes the best way to nurture a connection is to simply let it be. 5. The person who struggles with change. Honor their comfort zone. Change is one of life's few certainties, yet it is also one of its greatest challenges. As we grow older, we learn to accept many things: the passage of time, the shifting nature of relationships, and the reality that the world around us moves forward, sometimes faster than we'd like. But not everyone embraces change with ease. For some, any shift in routine, environment, or social interactions can feel overwhelming. These are the people who find comfort in familiarity, in the predictable rhythm of their days, in the quiet security of a world they have carefully built around themselves. You may know someone like this: a friend who has slowly withdrawn from social gatherings, a sibling who seems less eager to host family get togethers, or even a once close companion who now prefers phone calls to in person visits. At first, their reluctance may seem puzzling. You may wonder if you have done something wrong, if they are upset, or if they no longer value your presence in their life. But the truth is often much simpler. They are not rejecting you. They are protecting themselves from the exhaustion that change can bring. For some, the idea of hosting a visitor, even someone they love, feels like an intrusion into the order of their world. It's not about you. It's about the emotional energy it takes to shift from solitude to socialization. Their home, their routine, their carefully arranged space, it is their sanctuary. It is where they feel most at peace, most in control. And sometimes allowing someone into that space, even a dear friend, can feel like too much. Instead of pushing for visits, take a step back and consider their comfort. If they hesitate when you suggest stopping by, don't take it personally. Instead, offer an alternative. I'd love to catch up when you feel up to it. No rush. Just let me know when it's a good time. A message like this gives them the freedom to connect on their terms without pressure or expectation. If they are open to spending time together but seem uneasy about having visitors, suggest meeting in a neutral space. A walk in the park, a quiet coffee shop, or even a phone call can be less overwhelming than the idea of hosting. This way, they can enjoy your company without the added stress of changing their environment. Above all, be patient. Change is hard for everyone, but for those who struggle with it deeply, even the smallest disruptions can feel like losing control. By understanding and respecting their boundaries, you show them that your friendship is not conditional, that you care not just about seeing them, but about their well being. Love and connection don't always look the way they used to. As we age, they evolve, just like we do. The key is to recognize that everyone has their own way of navigating this journey. Some embrace change with open arms, others hold on to what is familiar with quiet determination. Neither way is wrong. So if you have someone in your life who resists change, honor that. Let them set the pace. Let them decide when and how they want to connect. And most importantly, let them know that your love and friendship do not depend on how often you see each other, but on the deep understanding that exists between you. Because true friendship is not about insisting on closeness, it is about giving each other the space to be who we are, exactly as we are. And sometimes the greatest act of love is simply allowing someone to stay in their comfort zone without fear of losing you. The wisdom of knowing when to step back. There is a unique kind of wisdom that comes with age, not just the wisdom of experience, but the wisdom of understanding when to step forward and when to step back. It is the realization that love is not measured by how often we visit, but by how well we respect the spaces others have built for themselves. In our younger years, relationships often revolved around presence, being there, showing up, making time. But as life changes, so do the ways we express love and connection. For some, closeness remains essential. For others, solitude becomes a treasured refuge. Some friendships thrive on frequent conversations, while others find their strength in the quiet knowledge that, even in absence, the bond remains unbroken. The people in our lives, the caregivers, the introverts, the family members, the distant neighbors, and those who struggle with change, each have their own journey, their own needs, their own evolving sense of comfort. And one of the greatest acts of love is recognizing that sometimes what someone needs most from us is space. Space to breathe, space to find peace, space to navigate their own path in their own time. This does not mean that relationships fade. It does not mean that love weakens. It simply means that we are wise enough to let go of old expectations and embrace the truth that connection is not about frequency. It is about understanding. So before knocking on a door, take a moment to reflect. Are you visiting because you are truly needed or because you are seeking reassurance? Are you adding to their peace or unintentionally intruding on it? Could your love be better expressed in another way? A kind message, a thoughtful gesture, a quiet moment of patience? The strongest relationships are the ones that honor both togetherness and distance, that recognize that love does not always need to be seen to be felt. When we learn to give people the freedom to exist as they are, rather than as we expect them to be, we unlock a deeper, more mature kind of connection, one built not on presence, but on profound respect. Because in the end, the best relationships are not the ones that demand constant attention, but the ones that can stand the test of time, distance, and change. The ones that say, I see you, I honor you, and whether near or far, I am here when you need me. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.